Hello, beautiful people, and today is our monthly segment of Did I Waste My Money on My Ipsy slash boxycharm? So quick rundown about this subscription. Ipsy has a tier of, you have the Ipsy Glam Bag, your boxycharm, and then an Ipsy Icon Box. Icon Box is quarterly and it retails for $60. And then every month you have the option of adding add-ons, and I believe that the base price for the regular Ipsy is $25 plus at this point, and then the glam bag is like $14, $15. So for this particular box, like I mentioned, I did pay $60 for this. I also did have some add-ons for this box, and I did also get in the extra add-ons order that I placed separately in the shop. Words are hard today. So today I figured I would do an actual unboxing and then try out the products, because I do believe I have pretty much everything I need for a full face, including the things that came separately from like the drop shop. So the only thing I remember that's in here is that the box this month was curated by Lisa Vanderpump. I personally am not a TV person in general. It's kind of more background noise to me, but I am absolutely not a reality TV person, so I really don't care about Lisa Vanderpump. Personally, I don't care about the Real Housewives shows. I think they're kind of weird, honestly. And I always find it interesting how not just the American psyche when it comes to television, but just people in general, how they get sucked into reality TV. It's just not for me, but that's just me. I'm sure there's plenty of things about me that people don't like, and that is perfectly okay. But anyway, that is who curated this month's box. I honestly don't remember what's in here. I did pull up my Ipsy for reference, but let's discover this together. So the Icon Box does come with like this little almost newspaper magazine. It will tell you on the cover who curated the box. It'll give you like details all throughout what's in here. Tells you, I believe, a little bit about the person who curated the box, and then it just gives you all the details of everything that could have been in the box. So we will recycle that, and then I'll just pull this out kind of in the order that they are sitting in front of me. So the very first thing in here is from Laura Mercier, and this is a tinted moisturizer bronzer. I think this was an add-on. That would be correct. This is an add-on, so I paid for this separate from the box, and this on its own retails for $32. I think based off of this should be a pretty decent shade match. Excited to try this out. And then next is by Keys Soul Care. So this is Alicia Keys brands, and this is the It's Like Skin 2-in-1 concealer and tint. And mine is in the shade 130N Extra Light Neutral. Hope this isn't too light for me, and this retails for $28. So this is supposed to be like a concealer slash skin tint, and I am just about certain that this will probably be too light for me. So I'll probably use this more so as a concealer. But if it is a tint, I mean, we are entering the winter months, and believe it or not, I actually get a lot more pale than this. So this might end up being my winter shade. So I'll definitely try that out today, probably more so as a concealer. And then the next thing in the box that I'm seeing is by Pores. And this is the Volcanic Skin Reset Mask. I might keep this, I might not. We'll see. It is a clay mask. It does have BHA and AHAs in it, so exfoliating acids. I do really like clay masks, but I'm kind of overloaded in the mask department, so I might pass this along. And this mask retails for $39. I definitely prefer clay masks out of any masks that I could get, simply because I do have very oily skin. And then next in the box is by Dominique Cosmetics, and this is a cream bronzer, and mine is in the shade Light Tan. I do believe that this was one of my choice products. Yep, this was a choice product, and it retails for $26. And here's the shade. That should be a pretty good shade match for me, so I'm excited to try this out. I really like Dominique Cosmetics, and her formula mimics like her cream blushes. It's a really, really nice formula. So very excited to have this and try this out. And then next is by Pat McGrath, and which palette is this? I believe this is the Lunar Nightshade palette, and this palette retails for $36. Here's the outer packaging right here, and then when we open it up, here is the color story right here. I think that is really, really pretty. I love like these kind of lunar, kind of rocky gray blue type of tones. So I do like Pat McGrath, except most of the time, honestly, I cannot justify $120 something for like her mothership palettes, but I do like her smaller ones. And for her, I don't think $36 is really that much for this type of size of her palettes. Up next is the Laura Geller Passport to Pretty. I believe that this is a multi-purpose palette for face and eyes. And oh, I forgot to mention, so this is my Beauty Boost product. So every month I do also pay an extra charge. I think it's like $15 a month, and you do get like an extra like deluxe like skincare product or makeup product, and this was my pick, and you normally get to choose between like 5 or 6 different products, and this on its own does retail for $25. Here's her standard kind of black outside acrylic packaging. Then when we open it up, oh, that's pretty. I have a really nice mirror in here. So here's what it looks like. Really like the kind of mauvey purple eyeshadows in here. Attempt to try this out today since the Pat McGrath one only has, was it 1 matte shade in there? I think it was 1. So I'm excited to have that. I will attempt to try out that palette today. And the next is by Laura Mercier, and this is the Caviar Eyeliner Pencil. If this is in black, I will be passing this along. So here's what it looks like. Okay, so it's like a kind of purpley brown type of color. On camera it kind of looks black, but in person it's kind of like a plum brown type of color, so I will get use out of that. And it's in the shade Dark Plum, and on its own it retails for $29. I ain't gonna lie, that is expensive as hell for an eyeliner. I could never justify that price, but this is why we like subscription boxes usually. And then the next product in here is by LYS. I really like LYS, and this is the Speak Love Moisture Matte Lipstick, and mine is in the shade Sincere. How in God's green earth do you open this? So here's what the component looks like, very thin and sleek. Then when we open it up, here's what it looks like, and here's the shade. That's a really beautiful like nude shade. Ooh, very, very soft. Absolutely a gorgeous, gorgeous shade. 100% will be trying this out today. Very excited to have that. I've heard really good things about that particular line of like lipstick, so I'm very excited to have that. I absolutely love their cream bronzer. It's one of my favorites. And that retails for $20. Then the next thing in here is by Girlactic, and this is a luminous face powder. Here's what the packaging looks like, and this is in the shade Light. Here's what the powder looks like. So I know that this product is supposed to give you like a buildable kind of dewy glow without all the dewy products, but I feel like this might be a little dark for me, but we'll go ahead and try it out. Definitely a little bit of a glow. I don't know how much you can see on camera, but in person it is glowy. Little on the dark side, but I feel like maybe if I go in with like a fluffy brush, it might not be as bad. And this product retails for $29. And then up next is by Iconic London, and this is the Lit and Luminous Baked Highlighter. I've actually been wanting to try this for a while. I've seen multiple people absolutely in love with this highlighter, so I was very excited to see that this was an option to pick up. Here is their pretty standard kind of reflective packaging, and then here is what the product looks like. That's beautiful. I don't know what you can see on camera, but it's right there. I have seen a couple people say where this shows up better on the face than it does swatching, that it just applies better with a brush. So we will definitely be testing out that little theory today, and this on its own retails for $29. All right, and then the next thing is by Tarte, and this is their Tartelette Juicy Amazonian Clay palette. I have a couple of Tarte palettes that I really like. I feel like their Maneater palette and I think it's their Nightshade palettes have been some of my favorite ones, and I did like their Tarte, was it like 20 something anniversary? That palette had some really nice shimmers in it. So, well, that's pretty. Here's what the outer packaging looks like. If I'm going to do neutral shades, I do definitely like to lean more towards like the pink and peachy, and that's what this is, so I probably will end up keeping this. So that's a really pretty color story. I think that this would be a really great like travel palette, or this would definitely be a great palette for workwear. So I'm excited to have this. I think Tarte over time has gotten a lot better with their formulas, particularly with their shimmers. Has that typical kind of chocolatey, almost Tarte smell to their palettes. At least I think that that's what their palettes smell like. So I'm excited to have this, and this on its own retails for $47, and that's expensive. Right, and then up next, and this is the Angel Face Setting Powder, and I believe that this is in the shade Heaven. Here's what it looks like, and there's the color. I think that this should be pretty good for me, so we'll definitely be trying this out today. I might use this to like set my under eyes and everything, and then I'll use the Girlactic one to kind of set the perimeter. So I'm excited to try this out. I personally like compact powders. That's just as a personal preference. They're not as messy, so they don't get everywhere. And this retails for $26. That is a new brand to me. I don't think I've ever heard of them before, or if I have, it's kind of... And then next, I do believe that this was an add-on, and this is the KVD Good Apple Full Coverage Serum Foundation. I never picked this up. I don't know why. I just never did, and mine is in the shade Light 012. I really hope this isn't too light for me. Might be just a smidgen too light, but we'll definitely be trying this out today. So I'm excited to try this. I've heard kind of mixed reviews on it, but I've heard mostly more positive than I have bad. So I'm excited to try that. I know that I am absolutely late to the party on that, but I am excited to try it. And this retails for $42. And then next we have something by Il Makiage, and this is their High Point Bronzer Blush and Highlighter Pro Palette. This is actually, I do remember seeing this in there, and this is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. I may end up passing this along. This retails for $72. And there's only 4 shades. Excuse me? What is this? That is very not aesthetically pleasing to look at. What a waste of packaging. It does have a lot of weight to it, and I feel like with a lot of Il Makiage products, you are paying for the name, even though there's quite a few people who've never heard of this, and they're very bulky, heavy acrylic packaging. I know mirrors cost a lot more. This acrylic packaging costs a lot more, but I'm sorry, y'all. I don't think this is justifiable for $72. I'll try it out. If I don't like it, I do know somebody who would probably get a lot of use out of this, but I will try it out. And then the very last thing, oh, I remember picking this. So this is a perfume, and this is by Tokyo Milk, and this is the Let Them Eat Cake, and it has notes of sugarcane, coconut milk, vanilla orchid, and white musk. And this retails for $48. Now, I personally absolutely love perfumes. I have so many perfumes, it's not even funny, but I do wear them on a daily basis. So ooh, that smells really, really good. Definitely has like that kind of gourmand scent to it. You can definitely pick up like the flowery vanilla orchid scent. Oh, that smells really, really good. If you love kind of like those gourmand, sweet, chocolatey, vanilla type of scents, this is fabulous. All right, guys, so that was everything that I got in the box. I will total it here in just a second. I'll just show you the things that I ordered that came in separately from that, from like Ipsy's shop. So the first thing that I got in is the Jason Wu Tinted Moisturizer meets CC Cream, and mine is in the shade, I think it's 03. So here's what it looks like, and just from the lettering right here, that does look like it should be a pretty decent shade match for me. Then the next thing that I got is the Pretty Vulgar Cool AF, and this is the Lava Water Foundation. You know, I really don't hear anybody talk about Pretty Vulgar anymore. I first discovered them in BoxyCharm, and they were all the rave about like their packaging and their setting powder and a couple of their palettes, but I really don't hear people talking about them anymore. Beautiful packaging though. So here's what the product looks like. I think that that should be a good shade match for me. This is absolutely beautiful right here. The packaging and the adornments has little roses here on the bottom, and it does come with a pump, so that's nice. So I'm excited to try this. I might save this for a different video, but we'll see. I might do like half the KVD and half this, depending on the shade match. And then the next thing that I picked up just while I was on the drop shop, I know that you can get this at Walmart, Walgreens, etc., but I picked up the e.l.f. Halo Glow Wand Beauty Blush, and mine is in the shade Pink Me Up. So it's like this really pretty kind of light shimmery pink color. And then the last thing that I picked up, because I did not have this, I picked up the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. And obviously I know this is old news, but here's the color story. More so picked this up for myself than a review, but I may end up doing a series of reviewing all of my Natasha Denona palettes. That will be a little farther down the line. Let me total up the box, and I'll zoom you guys on in, and we'll get started doing a look using what I got in my November Ipsy Icon Box. So excluding the 4 things that I had just showed you that I picked up in the shop, the box does retail for $528, and excluding the add-ons, it retails for $320. Now, remembering that I did pay $60 and you are getting quite a few full-size items in here, I would have to say, upon first impressions, before actually using these, I think this box was completely worth the money. It was nothing but makeup products except for the clay mask, and typically I do like clay masks. I'm just kind of bombarded with them at the moment, but I'm very excited about all the products I got in here. I think it was a fantastic box. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom you guys on in and we'll get started doing a pretty much full face of all of the products. Alrighty, I went ahead and did my brows and I just primed my eyes with the Milk Hydro Grip eyeshadow primer. So I think for today I'm going to go in with both the Pat McGrath and the Laura Geller. I won't necessarily do a review on the Tarte palette just because I think a lot of people already know Tarte's formula and whatnot. Not that people don't know Pat McGrath, but I'm more excited to use this one than I am the Tarte one. So I'm going to combine the two in here because they do have complementary shades. So the first palette that I'm going to go in with is the Tarte palette, and I'm going to use probably, I want to do the purple, but I know that I do a lot of colorful looks. I think that I'm going to go in with the browns and then I'll use Pat McGrath's like special shimmers. So the first shade that I'm going to go in with, and there are no names, is this shade right here, and I'm just going to put that all in my crease. Do something just a little bit simpler today, like do stuff in my crease and then just take two of the shimmer shades from the Pat McGrath palette. Just a little bit of kick up in the pan. It's a nice like transition shade, blending out nicely, building up easily. I think I have one or two more of the Laura Geller eyeshadow palettes and I do like them. I like the mattes better than the shimmers. Usually with the shimmers I do have to absolutely go in with a glitter primer of sorts to get better payoff, but if you're more of a natural type of person when it comes to your shadows, it's a really, really nice brand to shop. Right, and just to make this video a little bit shorter, I'm going to take this shade and blend that shade out, and then I'm going to go in with this darker shade right here and put that on the outer corner. At least in my experience, I have never had a problem with Laura Geller shadows. When it comes to the mattes, they're all buildable, they're blendable, so they're usually really user-friendly. A lot more kick up in the pan with this darker shade. I'm just going to put some of this on the outer corner. Right, I went ahead and blended out that darker shade and laid down a glitter primer for the Pat McGrath shades. Pat McGrath does have a really nice shimmer formula, so this particular formula you definitely don't have to, but I do it anyways as per usual. So I think the only two shades that I'm going to go in with this palette today are, I think I'm saying these in the right order, is this one right here, and this is called Platinum Moonlight, and then this middle one right here called Pale Amethyst. And I'm going to lay the blue on the outer right next to the brown, and then I'm going to lay the next one kind of on the inner portion. Now we're going in with that middle shade that is very, very soft. Well, I personally like the way that looks. Very, very easy look. I think real quick I'm going to go in to the Pat McGrath palette again, and I'm going to use this shade right here called Neptunian Orchid, and I'm just going to put that on my brow bone. I'm just going to take my finger. I'm going to go ahead and finish the other eye off camera and we'll be right back to start using the face products. Alright you guys, I'm back. Finished off the other eye and I went ahead and I did prime my face with the Beauty Bay jelly face primer. So I decided I am going to try out both of these foundations. I'll do the skin tint in another upcoming trying out new makeup, new to me. But I'm going to try out the Pretty Vulgar on one side and I'm going to try out the KVD on the other. They are slightly off in tone, just a little bit, so one side of my face might be slightly darker than the other. So the first one that I'm going to go in with is the KVD. I'll do that on this side. Definitely a runny foundation. Alrighty, and on this side I'm going to take the Cheeky Rose foundation brush that I just got in my Ice Cream Beauty box. And on the other side I'll probably use my IT Cosmetics. Seems like a pretty decent shade match. Alright, well upon first impression that is a pretty decent shade match for me. It did dry really quickly. There's a little bit of stickiness to it and I will get right here along my eyebrows with a smaller brush. But my skin looks really nice, has really nice coverage, doesn't look dry or cakey anywhere. So, okay, well I'm glad that I picked that up because I do on first impression like that. So now I'm going to go in with the Pretty Vulgar foundation. I think the pump is broken, but here's what it looks like. Probably going to need to pick up some more, but that might actually be too light. Has a weird menthol kind of smell to it. Hope it's not bad. Alright, so this has very, very light coverage, so I'm definitely going to have to go in with another layer of this. I mean, nothing's apparent in person, but I do apologize if you can see like the difference between the two. After they've been blended out, they are pretty similar colors. Tones are just ever so slightly different, but the Pretty Vulgar side still looks really nice. Doesn't look cakey anywhere, built up really nicely. Not settling into fine lines at the moment, so far I like both of those. The Pretty Vulgar one, though, does have kind of a little menthol smell to it, so I don't know if it's bad or if that's how it's supposed to smell. Next, I'm going to go in with the Keys Concealer and Tint. So it is a doe foot applicator. I'm just going to do just a little bit. I have a couple of her cream blushes and I do really like them. They're very lightweight. They have beautiful pigment to them. They blend out really nicely. Okay, well, so far this is laying underneath my eyes really nicely. It doesn't look heavy. It is just a tint, so it doesn't have full coverage, which is fine with me. Don't necessarily think I could use this as a skin tint. I think it is definitely too light for me, because even blending it out, you can see the brightening effect that it's giving under my eyes, so this would be too light for me. I do really like that underneath my eyes look nice and hydrated. They don't look dry, cakey. I'm sure it'll settle into my fine lines. A lot of concealers do that to me. That's kind of to be expected. As long as it's not looking overly cakey and gross, then that doesn't really bother me. So far that's a win. I am going to quickly set my eyes so that they don't crease terribly. So I am going to do that using the TYS setting powder. I'm just going to take that on a triangular puff. Just do a light set under the eyes. I know that this is not what these are intended for. Did darken it just a little bit, but it doesn't look too dark. Well, that didn't make it look cakey. Again, it did darken it just a little bit, but it doesn't look gross under my eyes, and it did definitely mattify. I will be using that again, just kind of like here in my T-zone, and I'll use the luminous one to set the perimeter. But next, I'm going to go ahead and use both of these cream liquid bronzers. So on the right side, I'll go in with the Laura Mercier, and then on the left side, I'll go in with the Dominique Cosmetics. So the Laura Mercier will squeeze some of it out on the back of my hand. Here's what it looks like. This should be a pretty good shade match for me. Looks like it's going to be like a kind of like a light tan. Seems like that dried kind of quickly, so something to take note of, but the shade looks really nice for my fair to light skin tone. Even though it dried kind of quickly, it is blending out decently, so I think that looks really nice. Then next on the other side, we'll go in with the Dominique Cosmetics. Just laying some of this down on the kind of perimeter. Seems like it's the same formula as her cream one, so it is blending really nicely. I really like this color. I think it looks really nice. Not patchy, giving a nice bronze to the skin. So I really like both of these. I think they both look really, really nice. So next I'm going to go in with the Halo Glow blush from e.l.f. These are not my favorite. Again, I don't like these applicators, but we'll go ahead and try it out. There's the shade. It is glowy, so typically you wouldn't need to go in with any more highlighter, but for science, we are still going to go in with a highlighter. I'm just going to dab some of this on my cheeks. Really nice color. That's nice. Pigment to it. Does have a little bit of a shine / glow to it, just like it says. Not lifting any of the product up underneath. I really like that color. I'm normally more of a peachy girly, but the pinks are definitely growing on me. Very, very light glow, almost to the point that you can't hardly see it. So I think once you kind of mattify it, you won't really be able to tell that there is a glow to it. So I do like that. And I think that that's it for my cream products. So I'm going to go back into this setting powder with a brush, and I'm going to set just mostly in my T-zone. I'll set my forehead with the other one, but I'm going to do this around my nose and my cheeks. This is very dusty in the pan. That didn't emphasize any texture on my face, at least not so far. Skin looks smooth, looks mattified, feels soft. And now I'm going to go into the Girl Lactic one, and I'm going to put that everywhere else. I really hope this isn't too dark, but I kind of feel like it's going to be. Very, very slight glow. I don't know how much you can tell on camera, but in person it's not an immense glow. So if you want just kind of a slight one and nothing too overboard, this would be a nice product to use for that. Looking up close, this also didn't emphasize any of the texture on my skin. It laid over the products really nicely. You can, in person at least, see a very slight glow where I did lay it down. Not as shiny as like the Huda Beauty Glowish powder. So this is kind of like a more dubbed down version of that. And then going in for powder, blush, and bronzer, I am going to dip into the Il Makiage palette. So I'm going to go in with the bronzer and the blush, and then we'll try out the Iconic London highlighter. So we'll start with the bronzer. I hope that they have more shades than this, because if not, this is really piss poor for most people. Well, that had some pretty nice pigment to it. All right, so the bronzer does look really nice. It does have a pretty decent amount of pigment to it. Little dusty in the pan, but it blended really easily. I mean, I think it looks nice. Could I justify this palette for $72? No. In my opinion, it's kind of like with the Hourglass baked products. Yes, while they are a staple, legendary, and a lot of people want them, I kind of feel like you're paying for the packaging and the name more so than the products. Now going into the blush. So this is obviously a light shade. Looks like it has a decent amount of pigment. If you are darker skin toned, I'm pretty sure that this would not show up very well on you. It's not a bad blush by any means. I mean, but it's nothing special. And in person, there's kind of like a light streak right here. Definitely not my favorite blush, but it's not the worst thing that I've ever used. And then next, what I'm most interested to try, we're gonna go in with the Iconic London highlighter. Again, I have seen a lot of people talk about this. That's really pretty. Definitely going on nicer with a brush than my finger. Everybody, this is why we don't trust swatches. Not emphasizing any texture whatsoever. Very beautiful, apparent but soft glow. Very happy that I picked this up. All right, we'll start finishing up the eyes here and then we'll finish off with the lips. So I'm gonna go in with that eyeliner and run that in the lower lash line. What I will say about this eyeliner is that it is very, very soft. So there's no catching, there's no tugging or pulling, and it laid down really nicely. Very comfortable. We put on some mascara and we'll finish off the lower lash line. Alrighty, you guys, so to do the lower lash line, I'm going to go back into the Laura Geller palette, and I really do love these purples in here, so I think for the lower lash line, I'm going to go in with this shade right here, and then for the inner corner, I'm going to go in to this shade. We'll really attempt to start making my videos shorter. I know not everybody wants to watch 20+ minute videos. It's just hard because I like to try to be thorough. I personally prefer longer form content, but that's just me. I'm trying to do a little bit of everything. I really love this mauvey purple color. So I am going to spray the brush, picking up this other shimmer shade. Alrighty, let me do the lower lash line mascara and we'll be back to finish the lips. Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead and line my lips and then we'll dive into that beautiful, beautiful lipstick. Okay, I'm very excited to use this lipstick. Alrighty, you guys, and this is going to be the final look using almost everything that I got in my November Ipsy Icon Box. And overall, I'd have to say I'm very, very happy with how this look turned out. I particularly love this eye look, definitely a little more toned down from what I normally do. This lip color is absolutely beautiful, very comfortable. Even though it's matte, it still has like a creamy type of consistency to it, so it's not uncomfortable to wear. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you guys on out and I will give you a very quick rundown of what my thoughts are on this box. Alrighty, you guys. So in terms of everything that I used and not stuff that I didn't use, when it comes to both of these palettes, I really like both of these. Again, I really like Laura Geller. I do like her mattes. Her shimmers oftentimes do require a primer if you want a little more of the oomph from it, but I have used her face products as well and they are very, very nice. Her blushes, bronzers, highlighters, I like all of them. The mattes are very nice. They build well, they blend well, so very happy to have this. It'd be a great travel palette. Pat McGrath, I think a lot of people have Pat McGrath as a staple in their collection. I really only have her mini palettes like this simply because, again, I cannot justify $125 for, what is it, 8 shades. I really do like her minis. Her shimmer shades are absolutely beautiful. They're very, very soft, very easy to layer. You don't need glitter primer. So I'm very happy to have this. Love this color story. And then moving on to the 2 foundations here. So upon first impression, I do like both of them. And before I laid powder on top of them, they both laid down really nicely. They didn't emphasize any texture, didn't settle into any fine lines or anything like that. Even now, it looks very soft, very smooth. Very happy with how they both look. And the shade matches after they blended out were really good for me personally. So I'm very happy that I picked them both up. This one kind of has more of just an ever so slight satin finish, and this one has more of kind of like a matte finish almost. So even though it's a serum on me, at least, it does have more of a matte finish. So I'm very happy to have both of those. Then moving on to the cream bronzers. I love both of these. I love cream bronzers. They're one of my favorite makeup products to use. They're great for full glam looks when you layer on top of them, or they're great for everyday kind of looks. Both of them laid down very easily. This one did dry a little bit faster, but they blended out really nicely, built up really well. I'm very happy to have both of these. The blush, again, it's e.l.f. I love e.l.f. Don't really like the component on this in terms terms of the fluff ball at the top. Love the color, blended out really easily. The glow really wasn't overly apparent, but I think it would be a little bit more apparent if you layered this up, but it was cheap, good quality, happy to have it. Then in terms of this, if I lighten up a little bit more, which I probably will, I will probably attempt to use this as a skin tint. There is just slight creasing under my eyes, but it's nothing absolutely major. It's nothing any different than any other concealer does on me personally, but I do like how light this looks under my eyes. It doesn't look heavy or cakey, and it did brighten it pretty decently. So I am going to try this at some point as a skin tint, but I will probably have to darken it. Oh, maybe with one of the bronzers. But I am happy to have this and try it out. And then as for both of these powders, so both of these up close, my skin looks really, really nice. With this one, it doesn't look heavy, it doesn't look cakey or anything. It did not settle into any of my fine lines. My skin looks matte. It gave like a very soft mattifying effect, so it's not like full-blown matte, but it's a very like soft matte focus, like finish powder. So I think that it looks really nice. And then for the Girlactic one, excuse the fingerprints, I'm really happy that I picked this up. I do really like glowy finishing powders or setting powders, but I tend to use them in the perimeter and maybe more on my forehead where I want more of a glow, but not so much around here because this is the oiliest part of my face. But where I did apply it, there is a very nice subtle glow to it. Doesn't look cakey or gross, so I'm happy to have this as well. And then regarding the highlighter, I really like this highlighter. Like, I'm very happy with that glow. That is absolutely beautiful. So I will 100% be getting more use out of this. Again, I heard really great things about this, so I'm very happy that I picked it up. And then last but not least, for the lipstick, I love this color. It is a very beautiful, everyday kind of nudie pink color. It is very comfortable to wear. It does have a matte finish, but it's like a creamy matte finish. So it's not like the extremely dry, cracked lip sensation that a lot of you can get from the matte liquid lipsticks. Absolutely want to try more of these shades because I really like this formula. Hey everybody, Editor Taylor here. So I completely realized that I absolutely spaced out on giving my final thoughts on the eyeliner as well as the Il Makiage palette. So the eyeliner, again, was really, really creamy. It didn't catch, it didn't tug, it didn't pull in my waterline. So I really, really like that. I still though stand by what I said. I don't think I could justify $30 for that, but I'm happy to have it. I will absolutely get use out of it because I really do like the color of it, but that'll be up to you if you could justify $30 for an eyeliner or if you want like a nice splurge. And then as far as the Il Makiage palette. So the palette itself, number one, I don't like the layout. The packaging is absolutely beautiful. It's that very heavy, bulky acrylic, but I'm sorry, it is absolutely not worth the $72 at all. And I'm glad that it was in a subscription box because I absolutely would never pay that much for it. The blush really was not that impressive. I know this lighting's kind of crappy, but it was really not that impressive. Most of this pigment you're seeing is from the e.l.f. blush and not the Il Makiage blush. It more so lightened the blush that I had underneath it instead of darkening it, but I know that it was a lighter blush, but honestly, it's not a horrible blush, but it's really not worth being in that palette if we're being completely honest. I do really like the bronzer. The bronzer was really nice, had a very smooth formula, but guys, I cannot justify the $72. So those are my thoughts and opinions on those two. Sorry that I forgot them, so let's resume the video. Overall, I'm absolutely giving this box a full 10 out of 10. I am highly, highly impressed with the box this month. Now, granted, part of it is, of course, you know, up to me because I picked a lot of these products. But what I do appreciate is the fact that Ipsy did offer a lot of really good choices, at least in my opinion, not only for choice, but for add-ons as well. Because sometimes I feel like their add-ons are really kind of crappy. So I was very, very happy with this box. Absolutely think it was worth the $60 plus, including the add-ons that I paid for it. Final thoughts on this month's episode of Did I Waste My Money on the Ipsy and boxycharm? No, I did not. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys thought of this month's box. Would you have been happy with this box if you paid $60 for it, plus the add-ons that I also ended up getting as well? Let me know what your thoughts are on Ipsy boxycharm period. Did you guys get this box this month or did you just get the standard box? Let me know your thoughts down below. And thank you guys so much for watching another one of my videos today. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. I do tend to upload pretty frequently throughout the week, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye guys.